Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something pretty epic, a 2,000-year journey that forged a modern state. We're going to uncover how ancient empires, a legendary warrior king, and a powerful idea of self-rule all came together to create what we know as Maharashtra. Let's get into it.
So, it really makes you think, doesn't it? How is a modern state actually born? Is it just about drawing some lines on a map? Or is it something much, much deeper? An identity that's been forged over centuries of culture, conflict, and, a shared dream?
Well, for Maharashtra, this was no simple political decision. Nope, it was the climax of a 2,000-year-long story. A story packed with ancient empires, legendary revolutionaries, and one powerful, enduring idea, the idea of self-rule. To really get how Maharashtra was formed, we've got to rewind. Way back. We need to look at the ancient building blocks of this region's incredibly unique culture and identity. Our story really kicks off with the Satavahans. They're pretty much considered the founders of Maharashtra, and they ruled for nearly 500 years. After them came the Vakatakas, who kicked off their own golden age of art and learning. And that's the key thing, right? These empires weren't just about conquering territory. They were about creating something lasting. They laid this incredible cultural bedrock in art and literature that would define the region for centuries. You've heard of the world-famous Ajanta caves? Well, that's a direct legacy of the Vakataka period. Just amazing. And the story didn't stop there. You had a whole succession of other powerful dynasties, like the Rashtrakutas and the Yadavs. Then, starting around the 9th century, Muslim rulers established their own kingdoms, adding even more new layers of culture and complexity to the region's history. Okay, so all of this long history, it was all building towards a massive turning point. A new leader was about to step onto the stage, and he brought with him an idea so powerful it would change everything: Swaraj. And this is where the legendary Shivaji makes his entrance. He wasn't just another king, he was a true visionary. A master of military strategy, a really shrewd diplomat, and an absolute genius when it came to administration. But honestly, Shivaji's greatest contribution wasn't a fort or a battle. It was an idea, Swaraj. Now, it translates to self-rule, but it was so much more than that. It was this new sense of nationalism, this belief that the people of this land could and should govern themselves. This one idea would go on to shape the next 300 years of history. Now, after Shivaji, his successors kind of struggled to keep that momentum going. Power eventually shifted to the Peshwas, and what they did was take Shivaji's core idea of Swaraj and just run with it, expanding Maratha influence on a massive scale, from their heartland in the Deccan all the way up to Punjab. But you know how these stories go. Just as the Maratha Empire is hitting its absolute peak, a new global power shows up on the scene, and well, the story takes another huge, dramatic turn. Yeah, so after the decline of the Peshwas, the British East India Company moved in, and eventually, the British Crown took complete control. Just like that, the era of Maratha supremacy was over, and the age of colonial rule had begun. Under the British, the region was totally carved up. You had the massive Bombay Presidency, which was this big mix of Marathi-speaking areas, Gujarati districts, even parts of Karnataka. Then you had the province of Berar, plus all these independent princely states. It was a real patchwork, a fragmented landscape. But hey, remember that idea of Swaraj? It didn't just disappear. It was about to be reborn in a huge way, putting this very region right at the heart of India's fight for freedom. Out of this fragmented colonial territory, a powerful new voice began to rise. Maharashtra became a nerve center for the national freedom movement, producing leaders and ideas that would go on to shape the future of the entire country. And this is the moment that 300-year-old idea comes roaring back to life. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, a major leader in the freedom struggle, takes Shivaji's concept of Swaraj and turns it into this electrifying call to action for the whole nation. Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it. What was so genius about Tilak was how he did it. He knew he had to reach everybody, not just the elites. So he cleverly used popular religious festivals as these huge platforms to spread the message of Swaraj, uniting people and breathing new life into the entire independence movement. So, fast forward. India gains its independence, but the story's not over yet. The final and really complex challenge was how to take this region, with all its deep history, and forge it into the modern state that we know today. The whole process was like a giant political puzzle. First, all those princely states merged with the Marathi-speaking regions.
That created this huge bilingual Bombay State with both Marathi and Gujarati areas. But, strong cultural and language differences led to protests. And finally, the crucial decision to divide the state along linguistic lines. And on this date, that journey, the one that started over 2,000 years ago, finally reached its destination. The modern Marathi-speaking state of Maharashtra was officially born. It was the culmination of empire, of culture, and of that undying idea of Swaraj.
This incredible 2,000-year journey really shows us something, doesn't it? While borders can define a state on a map, its true identity is something else entirely. It's found in its art, its language, and in the long, unbroken thread of its history. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.